chili gas.
You know what? Let's start it right there. We're gonna start with chili
And
gas.
hitting the microphone.
I can get rid of that. Whatever. Welcome to podcast number, I think,
7.
oh, yes, 7.
Wow, you're keeping track.
I just looked at it earlier and I couldn't remember either.
Yep.
So thank you for coming. SQSA, whatever, where we answer all the questions in the universe. Maybe. So just to go around the table, we got over on the left here,
John.
And here's Kyle.
Andrew.
And Hesh.
Hesh.
No, it's hash.
Hesh.
Hash.
I am Mike. Hello.
Oh, that is Michael.
But where did the heesh come from?
Hamish?
I'm thinking like
Hamish.
Hamish.
He's a good cat.
I was thinking like the candy because John brought some like candy bars that we got laying here because it's for us it's the day after Halloween. For you guys, it's probably not. But I know
some people didn't buy any
spirit
for their trick-or-treaters.
I didn't have any trick-or-treaters.
Well, neither did I, but I bought candy.
Oh,
There you go.
It's because you're
I bought it for the trick-or-treaters.
Everyone knows that the best time to buy candy for Halloween is the day after Halloween.
Because then the trick-or-treaters don't get any.
Yes, and it's all discounted like crazy. It's great.
Well, because nobody ever wants to buy like a Payday or a Babe Ruth because those are worthless candy bars.
That's why if you want to be the
It was a 4-pack. I didn't have a choice.
I wasn't blaming you.
I'm sorry.
I was blaming the companies for being awful.
if you want to be a successful trick-or-treater, go the day after Halloween. Like go door to
Just show
door
up at
then.
somebody's house.
Yeah.
there
Why
you go.
not? Who's going to stop you? Parents?
The cops.
The cops? Maybe. It depends. I mean, if you're trick-or-treating day after Halloween, yes.
Well, the problem is that nobody would have any candy left, so that there'd be no treat. There'd be no treats.
day
There would all be
after?
tricks.
The day
no.
after, you're saying that people would just binge the night of. There's going to be nothing November 1st.
They're waiting
What
till
do
midnight.
you do on Halloween?
I sit there by my door waiting, hoping that someone will come.
No one
He does
No
that.
one ever has.
And he does that all the other 360 something days
No.
of the year.
No, the day after Halloween, that's when all the parents with their kids have the candy. So you just like take all their kids' candy and then one stop, you got all you need.
Yeah, they're all in a sugared, like a
I
coma.
feel like at that point, it's half the parents' candy, half the kids' candy.
Oh, well, actually, I
Parents
usually
are
get
the
mine.
gatekeepers. So it's like, oh, yeah, you get one piece tonight and I'll wash this bag for you.
Yes.
I'm actually curious. How many of your parents actually did that where they controlled the amount of candy you got after Halloween?
Oh, God, no.
No.
I was sick every year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, same.
I always got to eat as much as I wanted. I never really got sick, but I think that my body was just used to taking in 4 pounds of sugar a day.
My parents figured, and correctly, I might add, that after a couple of years, I would just learn my lesson.
No.
Did you?
After
I did.
Did?
Uh-huh.
I did learn my lesson.
I didn't.
I was
At
I was
what
maybe
age?
15 or 16, but I learned my lesson.
As you look in front of you at the like candy bars that are all laid in front.
Yeah, we only got like 4 trick-or-treaters last night. I have an entire bowl worth of candy that's going to be just dumped in my roommate's room, so I don't eat it.
So did you spend more on decorations or
Yes.
on candy?
Decorations. I bought a cool looking bat. It had a little light up
you
eyes.
did. You showed us pictures. Yeah, you actually
I dressed up in my army outfit and got all
Scared everyone away?
Scared everybody away because I don't know why.
Where's the rifle?
Okay, so yeah, so
You were aiming gun at them every now and
Yeah.
then.
There was no weapons outside of the house.
It's good.
Outside of the house.
Outside of
but
the-
looking
outside
at
of-
the window.
It was like,
Hey kid, come stand here for a sec. I'll be back in a minute.
yeah. The funniest thing, like I live in a really safe area, so I'm pretty sure I'm the only one, just because profession and hobby.
Well, it means you have
But
an
I even have
advantage.
weapons in the house.
Look, you live with a Jedi.
I apparently do. Yes. He had to
Anyway.
help him.
Yes, so
I had a costume, but it didn't really work out all that well.
being a
your
Kentuckian isn't a costume.
Well, besides
pony.
being a shut-in.
He was
Yeah,
trying to be
I
a
was the
pony.
pony.
He was trying to be.
you were,
I was a bat pony.
oh yeah, on the stream. Yeah. That
Oh, it was
was
great.
weird. But anyway, so before we get too far off topic, so we do go and answer some stupid questions. So John, what did you start us out on? Whatever your question is.
So my question is, in this modern age, could we bring monarchy back? Like, could that actually work, or would it always be better to...
Britain already has monarchy.
Well, no, I mean, like, a monarch with actual power, not just.
Well,
the queen does have power.
She has power. She
has absolute power.
And if she ever exerts it, she will no longer be queen.
That's not no.
She's exerted it a few times.
God save the queen is literally just like a moniker for the entire English country.
If the queen dies and somebody else takes control, then I could see a problem. The problem is too many people love the queen.
Yeah.
Like she is a god to them to a degree. So I'm thinking that
she's a mascot though.
But she as far as I know, she has a lot of power, but she wants the democracy to be the thing. But she has stepped in and said and shut things down sometimes, even that divide all democratic process, because she's like, no, you guys are being stupid. Stop this. And they had to. So
she has absolute power in Britain. She just doesn't wield it very often.
But could you start a monarchy now?
Yeah,
they do it in South Africa all the time.
Well, no, I wouldn't consider that a monarchy. That's a dictatorship.
Yeah,
it's different.
Which really is a gray line.
Well, it needs to last
different shades of
three
gray.
generations. So we have North Korea, and that's about it.
Yeah,
but I could say so. Yeah,
but they're not really like part of.
They don't say that they're a royal line.
How would you define?
Pretty much close.
How would you define monarchy? Would that be like a bloodline that has control?
Yeah, one person has the power to do anything that they want. Power runs through them, and they choose their successor.
If that's the way, then yes, I see it could happen again. If it would, like a dictatorship is about forceful control, but really, if a populace had a leader that was so charismatic and so overwhelmingly loved, I can see people wanting him to carry on for a very long time and passing it off to somebody, which immediately then it is a monarchy. I can see any country getting to that degree. The problem is how much of a likable person would that take? And that is a huge question.
Like the Queen of England holds a very, like I've talked to a friend, I think I mentioned this before, a friend of mine who lives in England. When I talked to him about the Queen, he says, and I'm sure this isn't everybody's opinion in England, that she is England. She is what it is to be English. And without her, without the monarchy, there is no England. But that's his opinion, but that is an opinion a lot of people over in England share.
Yeah, but even in America, there's not many people in America that will say like, oh no, the Queen is stupid. No, even like I think the Queen's super cool. Like for a monarch in a country, when you hear about all the other monarchs in the past, she always sounds good on a lot of sense. So that's why I'm thinking if there was somebody else to pop up that was that well loved, maybe.
She was a factory worker in the 40s building planes.
Yeah, and she conscribed herself into World War II. They didn't put her on front lines for reasons,
obvious reasons.
But no, but I think that we could at some point in the future.
And it would be nice if we had somebody over here who could just step in when the government's like having a breakdown moment and everything's grinded to a halt. To have somebody step in and say, "Okay, stop."
But does that person have your best interest in mind?
Well,
that is the question.
The whole thing, it's two completely different systems though, because they do have a legitimate monarchy. It's not used to its full extent, hardly ever. Yeah. But here we are a republic, even though everybody likes to think of the federal government as the be all end all. We are still a republic, which every state has its own rights that the federal government cannot, override on. By law, the states have more right to their own citizen and their own authority than the federal government does.
I don't think a state can legalize murder.
That's not necessarily true.
They could. It's just that they're still under federal jurisdiction.
Yeah, the federal government could come in and enforce it.
State law could say, no, we're not going to prosecute this. But then the federal government could be like, no, you can't do that. We're going to step in here. But then they have to follow a very strict legal framework to do that. They can't just say, hey, we're going to do this now and then do it.
What state is it? It's just south of Montana. That's Wyoming. Yeah. There's a small little strip that is a basically law-free zone because nobody has jurisdiction and there's nothing that's been written in the books. Because like Yellowstone is supposed to be under Wyoming jurisdiction, but it ends up being that is in like a different state. And so technically there is no court that would ever uphold a law broken there. So you could technically murder somebody there and there is no law.
I think I've driven on that road more than 20 times.
You might want to run.
That's why you don't stop on that road.
It's just because something bad will happen to you.
They're all waiting with bats.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kyle, I think we covered that one. I would say yes.
Pretty easy to cover one.
What do you got for questions?
I don't know. Should I steal your one that you just had 10 minutes ago in the preamble?
It depends. Did you actually have a question?
I do have a question. Yeah.
Oh, you just want to use his?
I mean, it's his.
It was a good question.
It's a good question. So your question was, if you were to go to another planet, would it be more worth to eat an alien life form than it would be to eat an extinct life form on Earth? Like if you could eat a Tyrannosaurus Rex here, would that be more awesome than eating some alien life form on another planet?
I can answer that immediately. The Jurassic, because I'm guessing that their biology would be similar enough to ours, but any alien species would probably not be digestible or kill you.
Yeah, I'd be worried about aliens being poisonous.
Everything on Earth is biology is so similar. I mean, a fly's DNA is like what, 60, 70%? So I can't remember the number, but it's crazy high.
What would happen to your body if you ate something that was only 40% genetically similar to you? Like, what would happen to your body?
It's still carbon based.
Yeah,
it
like,
depends.
It has the same proteins.
It depends.
Sure, but like, would you be able to digest it, or would you be able to just like, would you just fall apart?
It's like Metamucil. It would go through you.
Like Metamucil, okay.
It would just keep you regular.
I love that. I do love that alien meat that they turned into Pepto-Bismol.
That's why
it's pink for a reason now, not just for coloring.
I mean, you can eat a rock and it'll go through you. So
Well, yeah, but if it's something that's
That's a silicate-based life form,
You
though.
hope it'll go through you.
But a rock, you're not going to absorb. It's going to go through you. But something that might be a life form base, but so your body will absorb it, but then it's full of like cyanide or something that's very bad. Your body's just going to take it in, and it could be like all the proteins that are in there could be just horrible for you.
Yeah, how much arsenic is in this?
But if it, like you'd have to take an animal, an alien thing, and then like break it down via like a spectrometer and be like, will this kill me or will it not? And it's like, probably not. You just eat it.
They cover that in Expanse. They actually
do?
have it
Yeah.
in the Alien Planets.
They
They covered a lot more in the books, but yeah, they had to bring over human
dirt.
Earth dirt and Earth species because none of the animals or anything was survivable.
let me reframe that question a little differently.
Oh God.
Would you, if you're given the option to eat the alien, the first alien that ever discovered in space, and you would go down in the history books for being the first to eat this thing, but they don't know if it's poisonous or not, would you eat it?
It depends. Is it a smart alien where you're also going to be going down as the starter of the first intergalactic war?
These are space chickens. They're chickens from space. They're not smart.
I'd say no because I'd have no idea how to cook it.
If I'm going to eat it, I want it cooked well.
God, could you imagine trying to cook a space chicken? You just put it in the pan. You're like, I'm going to cook this up, and it goes, and just disappears from the pan. You're like,
Yeah.
It's a little dry.
Apparently you cook this like a marshmallow.
we're gonna have to slow roast this baby, or else it's gonna disappear.
It just burst into flames and just vanished.
Oh no, I would definitely eat it.
I would probably find somebody that was willing to eat it like Michael first.
But
See
then
what
I go
happens.
down in the history book.
That's
you
fine.
don't get to go down in the history
It's
book.
fine because
me.
being dead and stupid is because you died from it. I'd rather not be that guy
He'd
either.
go down in the history books as the guy who found the body of the first guy to eat this thing.
So we both get in. That's great.
Yeah, actually, that'd be pretty decent. I'd be okay with watching somebody die and be like, "Hey,
Wait,
I was the first." No.
Wait, you gotta give context.
Let me clarify.
I want to
Let me
watch the
clarify.
life
Let me
leave
clarify.
their eyes.
Let me clarify. I would love to be that guy who, like in space travel, finds the first guy to have eaten something dumb, because it would mean that I was the exact same as one of my ancestors who tried to eat like a piece of nightshade 40,000 years ago. It was just like, that guy was dumb. Hey, everybody, remember me? Don't eat this stuff like that guy.
And I'm
And
just
then you just gotta
imagining
eat the chicken.
you've got the one
Those are
guy who's
chicken.
saying, this is a tomato. Edible. Oh, this is a lemon. Kind of edible. You have to mix it with something. This is some hemlock. And then you'd be the guy watching saying, okay, tomato, yes.
Everything else,
Lemon,
no.
yes. Hemlock, no.
It's like 100 guys have a checklist, and it's the last guy that gets to the end of the checklist and goes, okay, we're good to go.
I mean, the thing is, you being alive, you get to write the book on not eating hemlock. Like, I would be the guy who would write the book on don't eat the space chicken.
I do like humans are the only creatures who will eat like jalapeno peppers, because we ate it. It hurt, and we were like, let's keep doing this for the rest of all of our.
Because
think I
pain
said
is
that the other-
existence.
Yes.
I think I made reference to that the other night, too. I was like, we're the only ones who are dumb enough to eat foods that really don't want to be eaten.
Well, we have enough calories that it just gets boring.
We find enough.
we're bored.
We have artificial sugars.
Yeah.
We just toss enough of that on there, and it makes anything tasty.
Why some people like bury an egg for a decade and then dig it back up and eat it.
100-year-old egg.
Yeah.
This thing is black. That's well seasoned.
Yes.
Well,
How about you, Argo?
yeah. So my question was actually regarding like cybernetic enhancements type stuff. So based on John's recommendation last time, I started watching Altered Carbon. And they in just in sci-fi in general, you know, you have people with like robotic arms and like robotic eyes, but in there they have like the guys that can like call a gun to their hand and like certain aspects of them. So if there was the ability for somebody to enhance something about the human body, what would be the one thing you would want?
Stomach.
I was going to say that too.
I want to be able to eat anything.
Rocks.
Just wood.
Just like
See aliens.
me and Jurassic are going to be like, that sounds like a space marine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have that too. Yeah, I would
so
have
many
said
cool
stomach.
things.
I would have said stomach too, because like there's nothing that sucks more than like getting to the end of a delicious plate of food and then having a little bit left, but you just can't eat it anymore. But just having that stomach and be like, okay, I'm good. Like,
Oh.
Yeah, but where does it go?
Well, it would go nowhere.
The
You
taste-
would just, yeah.
taste happens here.
Yeah.
Stomach is just where the food goes.
Do you instantly just like you just crap yourself?
Do
Like,
you know?
like,
Do
there's
you,
no
do you
room
know
for
those
more?
overflow valves they have on like container ships?
Yeah.
There would just be one located right above one of your kidneys, and we go.
So a colostomy bag.
I'm gonna get
No, not
I'm gonna get
in
like
so many
a
words.
I'm gonna get a carburetor and I'm gonna get like an exhaust
Carburetor.
pipe, and it's just gonna be, I'm gonna look like a steam engine.
Well, because you have a
Just endless farts. That's what it is.
you have a completely different take on it than I do. Because you're thinking I want to keep eating food, but I want to have complete control over the food that I eat. And I'm like, why am I limiting myself to food?
I could be eating this bed
be eating a
mattress right
tree.
now.
I want a stomach that can just
Digest anything.
take like the cast iron stomach, that stereotype. I want a literal one.
I want to be able to get rid of all the evidence.
Yeah, I want to be able to drink
Yes.
as much alcohol as I want, and it'll automatically be processed. That might be more of a liver thing, but I'm gonna include that in stomach.
It would be nice if you could like just hit that perfect level of like getting liquored up and then stop. But that also sounds like you're just going to be an alcoholic for your life.
Technically, you could just have that
like-
in a like a mod.
Well, it's
A
like going
brain
back
mod.
to the last question. Just, oh, it's an alien. What's it taste like? Oh, it's pretty good. It probably would have killed me if I didn't do this. But yeah, the alien from the movie Aliens, it's really kind of sour.
Depends.
Well, it
45
depends.
Space Marines.
Your body's still going to absorb some stuff. Because like I had a friend, there's the thing that's called like magic fruit. I think it is. It's like a certain fruit that you
Yeah.
put on your tongue and it gets rid of like the bitter and whatever flavors. And he thought, I wonder what an onion tastes like with this. And so he takes a big old bite of an onion and it's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Well, the problem is as soon as the onion leaves your mouth, it's now in your esophagus to
And it
where the
burns.
fumes of an onion
Yeah.
made him unable to breathe for a short period. And so, yeah, you can have an iron stomach, but if it's still hitting your mouth and your esophagus, I mean, you can't eat a cactus because you still got to get it to your stomach.
No,
You're going to have,
could.
you're going to have a very airy esophagus.
Like, I don't get the onion thing though, because onions are good.
But no, if you just take a
Raw
big bite of
onion.
a white
Not a
onion,
Vidalia onion.
no, just go in and like take a bite out of an onion and chew it up and swallow it.
Yeah.
The fumes of it, not the flavor, the fumes of it are so thick and heavy that your esophagus can't breathe.
No, I've done that all the time.
Yeah, but you're not
do you
human.
mean
You're
you've
done
Kentuckian.
that all
I
the
mean, we
time.
would grow onions in the garden. We have like tons and tons and tons of onions. I just dig them up and eat them like an apple.
Yeah.
Now I know why. You know,
Wait.
yeah,
Is
it's a
that a
blue
call
one.
for?
No, onions
Is that
are
a blue
good.
one?
Yeah, I think it is.
Onions are good. I like onion.
I like onions too, but not like that.
You can
I don't
just
add a
eat
little
an
You
salt
don't
in an onion.
dig up ground onions and eat them like you're from the book Holes.
No, I used to
a
find like
matter of-
wild onions and just eat them.
It's a
You read
matter
the
of
book?
building up your
Shia LaBeouf.
endurance.
Yes, Charlotte.
Was
Yeah.
he's the one that did the movie.
Yeah,
right?
they did.
Okay.
But-
onions.
I can see Michael's
Those are
point.
red
Like
onions.
I will eat raw onions on a burger, and it's just a matter of how
That's
much.
different than eating them from the ground.
It's different.
That's where onions come
it's
from.
raw
Apple
onion.
wise. No, it's not the same.
A raw
No, they
onion
come from my
chopped
mom.
into rings is the same as a raw onion not chopped into rings.
Yeah, but when it's mixed with other things, you're taking a small
You
chunk.
aren't eating an entire raw onion ring.
Yeah, you're not eating the entire ring from it in one thing. That's where it gets to be a bit much. And it's not the
On
flavor.
salads, I do. Like you put raw onions on a salad. I will eat just the raw onions off of that salad.
But that's like usually slices of it. And we're talking an entire ring of it.
Again, it's just a matter of scale.
Well, Michael has a different scale than we
No,
do.
you can just
Michael
bite
does
into
have a
an,
different scale.
He
bite
does.
into an onion.
Well,
Yeah. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying you can build up your endurance until eventually that's edible.
The onion
and
endurance.
Michael has reached that level.
As a child, in fact.
Thinking of that. So, Michael, what would your like enhancement be?
I always like the idea of just having some way to plug my brain into the internet.
Wait, so that you don't even have to move? Like using your hand and keyboard is too difficult.
No, I want to plug my brain into a computer and exist in a complete other world. Like kind of like VR, but it would feel like sitting in this room.
Like
Oh, you
SAO?
want to do that thing that Mark Zuckerberg
You want the
did a
Matrix.
commercial about?
Michael wants the Matrix
I want the Matrix.
Why would you want to be in another world?
because there are ponies there.
There's ponies.
There could be ponies in that world, maybe, yes.
I see how it is. Oh.
All right. Well, Michael, what would your question be then?
Okay, well,
Wait, Kyle, what was your cybernetic? Was it stomach too?
Oh, no,
yeah,
it
you
wasn't.
didn't
It was, I was going to say dural armor. Because I could technically do any stupid thing I ever wanted, but then probably be okay.
No, like I mean, you can't jump out of a plane.
Well, if you have good enough dural armor, you probably could survive the impact.
No,
Oh, no.
your organs are a little squishy.
The inertia would affect
Yeah, but
your heart.
if you take dural armor and then you extrapolate that across your entire body,
Yeah, that's not going to protect you from a concussion.
No, that's the one thing that always.
no, it won't probably.
That's the one thing that bothers me, like Master Chief in Halo, is like, oh
Yes.
look, he did a jump from space and he's kind of fine. I mean, you can see he's modified in some way, but he's also gelatin.
What?
Yes.
But at the same time,
There's a reason they don't make motorcycle helmets out of leather.
But,
Because
like-
it doesn't matter how thick that
No, no,
skin is,
I-
you're going to crack
No,
your
I
brain.
know, but like at the same time, it'd be really cool to be like nigh invulnerable
I mean,
to
it
like
would-
impact.
It does.
That'd be
Like,
great.
So you want bulletproof skin.
That's what dural armor is. Yeah.
But that's only for bulletproof. If somebody punched you, you're still going to bruise just the same.
Well, you're going to
No.
bruise after the bullet.
Your bruise is
But-
the under the skin.
Well, dural armor is
and if you
in
had-
your skin.
And if you had that kind of a thick armor-proof skin, you would probably just like stand there like completely T-posed and just like, here come T-pose Kyle.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, like, do you want a drink, Kyle? And he's like trying to turn his body to grab the drink. He's just pour it in the mouth.
Okay, fine.
I remember hearing a joke about a superhero who could turn his body into stone, but he wasn't a superhero until his 80s because it took him that long to figure out how to bend.
What was the Marvel hero that was on Netflix?
Nick Cage?
Yeah, Nick
Luke.
Cage. That's Luke
Cage
Cage.
is
No,
Marvel.
I'm thinking Nick Cave in the bad seats.
No, yeah, it
but
was
no,
Luke Cage. Yeah, because I never watched Luke Cage, but I watched Jessica Jones, and so yeah, you'd want to be Luke Cage.
I thought you said Nick Cage, and I was
that's what
very
he said.
excited.
Nick Cave.
who wouldn't
Nick
want to be Nicolas
Cage.
Cage?
Yeah, he's saying
Nicolas Cage is
red
a pretty cool
hand.
guy.
Yeah.
He does movies and stuff.
He does.
He's not a super.
You
Well,
can be-
no, he is a superhero.
He is.
Yes, he is in a couple things.
Yeah, you can be Nicolas Cage. Your only weakness is bees.
My dural armor is invulnerable.
My eyes.
Bees. My eyes.
An influx of bees.
They did put dural armor on the inside of my mouth.
Oh no. That's
Pearl
horrifying.
armor on your tongue?
Actually, you know what? I take everything back. I want to be able to eat hot nacho chips and not care if I get stabbed in the top of the mouth with the nacho chips.
So
That
you want
happened
dural,
once.
I
dural?
want
Dural
dural mouth armor. So I can eat nachos without danger.
So then you can eat pine cones.
Does that include hot foods?
Yes.
Okay, then yes, I want that.
I want that one.
Because there's nothing worse than having a hot pizza and then like 2 hours later realizing you burned the top of your mouth.
Or,
that shit.
or you wait a minute.
No, that's too hard.
No,
No,
that's too difficult. I don't like that.
if they can
It's
make
not an
some,
option.
if they can cybernetically give me patience, then sure. But until
I'm afraid I have a Michael story for what Kyle was just talking about. There was a time we went to a Mexican restaurant in Cincinnati, and this was back when my parents really didn't have a lot of money, and going out to a nice restaurant in the city was a super rare thing. But they were having some big party for somebody, so we went up there, and I ordered my food. And before I even got my food, I managed to stab the roof of my mouth severely so bad that I have a scar on the roof of my mouth today from something that happened when I was like 16.
hey, women love scars.
I can still feel it with my tongue. That's how severe the scar was. I was trying to play it off so hard because I was like, this is a really nice thing we're doing. We're having a really nice meal. But the inside of my mouth is just full of blood. Like I managed to lodge that chip into the roof of my mouth.
And then they give you a lemonade.
And I was just like, and then they brought my food and I'm just like, I couldn't eat it.
Good job, Michael.
It hurt so much. There was so much blood. It was a bad day.
I feel like
I've
one
heard,
out of every four.
I've heard so many of his stories, and he still finds a way to pull up weird ones out of nowhere.
Just the statement, we went to this nice restaurant, but there was so much blood.
They had deep fried ice cream. That was the first time I ever saw that.
Anyways, Michael, what was your question?
All right. Well, Halloween just happened, so I was kind of thinking of Ghostbusters. And I was thinking of the scene where they're all being asked, choose your destroyer, and they summon the giant marshmallow man. So I thought, what would all of your destroyers be? Like, if you were to think of somebody who would destroy the world, like, what would in that scenario, what would you probably pick?
Wait, if we were to think of something that was soft and from our childhood and that could never hurt us.
Or you just, like, want a certain thing to destroy you. It's up to you.
I have one very political answer and one very not political answer.
I'd go with the latter.
Okay.
Wait, you'd pick a ladder.
Yes, death by ladder.
It's a giant sentient ladder.
It's very stationary, but it's so ominous.
The entire world gets trapped in a game of shoots and ladders.
It's everybody has to climb it, and it always falls.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, no, it's not even that. It's that when you walk beneath it, it's so large that when you walk beneath it, you get bad luck.
Like Guns N' Roses, but with ladders.
Yeah. But like the ladder spans the entire world.
So where would you go?
Exactly. You could go nowhere.
It's a ladder.
You'd go up.
See, it's the forever ladder.
Who's the guy in Greek mythology that has to put the boulder up?
Sisyphus.
Sisyphus.
Sisyphus,
It's Sisyphus,
yeah.
but he has to like carry a boulder up a ladder that goes forever.
Oh no, that's even worse.
No,
God,
man.
climbing up a ladder would suck.
The
At least
boulder.
rolling it, you can stop for a second.
Okay, I feel like that's
rest.
going to go in a weird direction. Let's continue on, Michael.
So, John, who do you want to destroy the world?
They're just like humans. They're just better. So, like, almost a perfect copy of all of our civilizations. We just get replaced by someone who's exactly like you, but better.
I mean, that's
You mean
forward thinking.
We just watched a movie, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just watched World's End, and that's kind of what that is.
A little bit.
Good movie.
So, what about you, Kyle?
A Furby.
A Furby?
A Furby would definitely destroy the world.
Giant,
They
deadly
kind of did that.
Furby.
It's Gremlins.
Well, no, a Furby is not a gremlin. A Furby is his own thing.
It's just
but
take a
they're
Furby,
just
shave
as
it.
demonic.
Just shave the Furby. And you got a gremlin.
What? I mean, that's probably true.
Didn't they have that in, like, what was that animated movie? Like, the Mitchells versus the Machines?
Oh, I never watched that.
I didn't watch that one either.
That does make me think, like, if you were to just take could Furby and Chia Pet, like, do a collaboratory thing?
I thought you were going to ask if they could breed.
Like, it's a talking
A
plant.
Furby and
I don't know. That seems similar enough
So
to
you'd
me.
that seems
Spread-
like sin. I don't like
No,
that.
now I'm
Yes.
just
Yeah.
imagining you've got this weird robot giggling at you while you're spreading these wet seeds on the outside.
Do it more. Do it harder.
No.
Choose your destroyer.
So what was the original, like, because I don't remember the original Ghostbusters. So you said, like,
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
so the Stay Puft, but why
Yeah.
was the Stay Puft chosen?
It was because the Gozar, the god, basically said, choose your destroyer, and whoever they thought of as the destroyer would become the destroyer. And I forget which character it was.
the Bassomatic.
I think it was, yeah.
Fred? No, not Fred.
No,
It wasn't Fred. No.
it was anyways,
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd's character.
Yes.
He basically thought of a destroyer that could not hurt anyone. And it summoned the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but like the size of a skyscraper and angry.
Oh,
And also
Okay.
killing people.
yeah.
Killing
I
people.
never remember. See, I don't know how the hell you remember so much details of weird crap like that.
It's a classic movie.
It is a good movie. I don't remember that though. But no, I'm trying to think of like they were saying of like something that's not really dangerous, but then it would. I want Clifford the Big Red Dog
That would be
God.
horrifying.
because it would be horrifying,
It'd
but at
be
the
like-
same time, it's like, but he's a good boy.
But
He
it's
can't do
like-
He's
nothing wrong.
not. He's killing
No,
people.
no. It'd be
That's why he's red.
It'd be Cujo with a lot of spray paint.
Essentially.
He's red with all the love he's received from all the people he's murdered.
That's
He
not
goes-
a lot.
He goes to lick them and
Everything
eats
winds
them.
back around to the red caps from Pathfinder.
I was thinking of like, I mean, sure, it would be a giant horse for sure. Like, but if I was to try to separate Pony from it and it wasn't a giant derpy, like happily killing me,
Wait,
um,
would it be one giant horse, or would it be millions of Pegasi
It depends on his
that
finish.
were just tiny Pegasi attacking people?
That can combine together to make a Megazoid.
Sure.
But I was also thinking of a giant Betty White because everyone loved Betty White, right?
Wait, would it be Betty White just blown up so she's gigantic, or would they create like out of thin air? Here's a giant Betty White.
I would think. I mean,
It's lots of Betty Whites that just keep blowing up.
I think. Oh,
we're gonna
Like,
find out
what
that
happens to the original.
Maybe the
IED
original
Betty White.
maybe Betty White's always secretly wanted to destroy the world and she just hasn't had the opportunity. So
I feel like Betty White would be a pretty decent way to end the world.
Maybe she is an immortal and we just haven't figured it out yet.
I mean, she's lived long enough at this
Yeah, that's
point.
true.
Does anybody remember Betty White being born? No.
I don't remember her anywhere. She's always just been Betty White.
No, the Mary Tyler Moore Show. She was just a middle-aged bitch.
True. I have soju.
So
for you
yes,
guys.
so we
Frog.
we finished the question bits, and yeah, Kyle brought some.
I brought some-
Korean.
It's
I have
Korean
a thing,
rice wine, which is soju, which is. I tried to get the bottle that was the closest resemblance to the one they used from the show Squid Game.
Wait, oh, this is. I need one.
This is close to Squid Game.
Oh yes, it's Kyle's
As far as I know.
watching Squid Game.
I gotta finish this beer.
So this is apparently the cheapest bottle of soju I could find in the place because I assumed that since he was poor as dirt that he would be buying the poorest stuff.
It kind of smells cheap.
It actually smells like rubbing alcohol.
Yeah,
so.
a little bit.
Doesn't quite
He's
taste
just
like
down
a
the
frog.
whole
It
thing.
doesn't. Wow, that was a lot of booze that you
It actually is not bad.
It's
It isn't actually, no.
there's a piece of wrapper floating in my Darn you, Kyle.
So we were using it for trash earlier.
I also love how Michael gets the trash glass.
You know what? I don't care. It's fine.
I'm getting hints of Baby Ruth.
Yeah, a little bit of Baby Ruth in there. I think this is vintage 2020.
Yes.
Kyle's losing it.
Giving him the trash glass was so perfect.
By default.
even do that on purpose.
Sure.
You just
Was it a Babe Ruth or was it something else?
anyways,
Oh,
so
that's great.
thank you, Kyle.
That's great.
So for our middle
It's great.
So our middle section here, I've been enjoying the trivia bit because it helps keep the middle section a little bit like hip.
New and fresh.
Ooh, new and fresh.
I'm hip.
On The Wiz.
I got it.
Usually Kyle follows it up with the sexy version, but that's okay.
The Wiz.
Wait, John's wasn't the sexy version?
No, his is the radio version.
Yeah.
Kyle, I'm saying it
Wait.
sounds sexy. I'm saying it is sexy.
Let me try.
Yes.
The Wiz.
Can we go back in time and mute you?
You can actually.
I did it the best.
All right. So how this works
this
is
wrapper out.
I have a little ding noise that's going to play after 2 seconds. I'm going to turn that up a little bit. And what that means is that they have 2 seconds to answer the question. If they, the idea is that they get 0 points if they say nothing, 1 point or 2 points if they get it right, but 1 point if they say anything. So it is better to say anything than to get it wrong. Or not to get it wrong, to get it to say nothing. So I have 3 questions per group. We'll see what time we have. I have a bunch otherwise. So we'll start with John here. John is already the trivia expert
I've lost every time we've done this.
because I give you the really hard ones.
Yeah.
But John, so your first question, and I actually got a prep on this. All right. So in which sport are Barini, Rudolph, and Randolph all techniques?
Pixar.
Pixar's a sport?
It is now because
Yes.
John said so.
Apparently, you were just thinking of like the Steamboat Willie, and you're like,
Not Steamboat Willie, because he said I can't use that again.
This time.
You're going to ask me a Steamboat Willie question, aren't you?
I kind of want to, but I don't know if I looked one up.
That would be hilarious if you managed to find one, though.
Yeah.
No,
like
the
that.
sport is trampolining.
Sport, you said.
Trampoline?
Yeah, trampoline's a sport.
Pixar is a sport.
Pixar's a sport of trampolining.
Is this like curling
What I want to know is what a Rudolph is in
and
trampolining.
trampolining?
It's where you get a
Rudolph
bloody
Hess.
nose after falling off the trampoline.
It's when one of the springs gets loose and injects itself into one of the contestants.
It's like back in the 20s when poetry was an Olympic event.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Ooh, I'd actually kind of watch that.
No.
Well,
I would. There's a more artistic time.
car racing was an Olympic sport too.
That's way cooler.
If they had
Yeah.
that now, they put like Justin Bieber on there or something.
Yeah.
Poetry?
In a car race?
Have you seen like Zoomers today?
If you're
Jesus.
sitting in a chair the whole time, it's not a sport.
Okay, so John, your question number 2. America's first multimillionaire, John Jacob Astor, made his fortune in what trade?
Hotels.
No, but that's maybe not a bad one. It was fur trade.
It makes sense.
I looked up some of the details on this. I did not look up what year he was, but if it's a multi-millionaire, I'm guessing probably like 100 something years ago.
Yeah.
I would have guessed the lumber industry just because that was really big in the Americas early on. Because
I would have said furniture.
Britain needed lumber for ships because they didn't have a lot of lumber in England.
Well, because
True,
I know
true.
the name, but I mostly know it because of the dog from the mystery
Astor.
movies. Yeah, Astor.
Well, it's Astor, A-S-T-O-R.
ASTR.
But all right. So your third question: what geothermal Icelandic site has the same name as a 1980s movie?
Reykjavik.
No, I gave you this question because it was Icelandic,
Yeah.
and I knew that you wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
The movie is The Blue Lagoon.
Oh
I've heard.
Wait,
of
are you
that.
saying
okay.
because you know it?
no,
I gotcha.
I know the movie. I don't know the location, and it's probably different in the original Icelandic.
Probably a
Wait,
little bit.
what is it in the original Icelandic? Since you
It's
have the answers,
it's Le Blue Lagoon.
Le Blue Lagoon.
that is a fake French accent, not a fake Icelandic.
Nope,
accent.
that was me just adding "lay" to the front,
Yeah.
Oh.
which is also called in a fake American French.
Yes.
Le Blue Lagoon.
Like this is a piece of bread. What is it in French? Le bread.
Le Red.
So Kyle, I got your questions here.
Oh, God.
I gave you some fun ones.
Okay.
So first question for you. I got to read this one ahead of time. Hold on.
Wrote
Okay.
this ahead of time.
Because I had to pronounce it right. So, because you guys, I did not look up Australia for this one. So, what does it mean when an animal is crepuscular?
It means it's the bolognese sauce.
There were words there.
I said it's le bolognese sauce.
Le bolognese sauce?
Yes.
So it's ground up with some tomatoes?
Yes. Crepuscular.
Oh, no.
Crepuscular means something along the lines of
poor
things.
puppy.
I thought you looked at me and literally had a seizure.
It's close enough, at least.
I thought you were going to say carcinize. I can't even say that word. Carcinization.
Yeah, crepuscular just sounds different than it's spelled.
Yeah, crepuscular means it's
it's an animal that is active at dusk.
Isn't that called
See, like I knew the
nocturnal.
word. I've heard the word before, but I did not remember what it was for.
And that's why I'm picking these.
Oh, God.
All right. So following it up with number 2, Kyle. In 1547, who became the first Tsar of Russia?
Tsar Shi.
Tsar Shi. Who is Tsar Shi?
Somebody who was in Russia. Yeah, maybe who shouldn't have been.
Because I want to know this.
GP.
You know, this person's history seems very interesting. I would like to know more.
Well, there's a lot of like multiculturalism back in 1517 Russia.
It's 1547, but okay.
If it's 17.
one of those times.
You have to backdate
Some point in
that.
history.
Not Nicholas.
No, it was Ivan IV, also known as Ivan the Terrible.
He was the first. Okay.
No, he was the fourth.
First Tsar.
He was the first terrible.
Tsar.
Tsar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ivan Terrible the first. So question number 2, Kyle. In 2018, a bag of 27 what were discovered by a fisherman in Siberia?
Marbles.
Marbles?
It's a
No.
good guess.
No, human hands.
Oh.
Yeah.
They did used to cut off hands.
What
as
I'm actually
punishment.
curious about is that is an uneven number.
Well, it was 27 different people. You don't cut off both their hands because then they can't work in the mines.
They need the hands for the mines.
Yeah.
They don't need
You
the feet.
can't cut off. Well,
Unless it's a delicacy in Siberia. I don't know.
I thought it was going to be feet.
But the weird part is it 2018?
Yeah.
So it wasn't even that long ago. So I guess, yeah,
It's
economy
Siberia.
They could have
rules.
been old hands. Who knows?
old hands.
Old hands.
I figured they'd be able to tell.
All right.
That's a 27-hand horse.
Yes, they had him. They just measured the horse and then threw them over the side of the boat.
Didn't need him no more. The measure was done.
All right, Michael, I got your questions here.
Oh, boy.
You ready?
We'll tape it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I bet you are. So, where in the world was Richard Nixon when he delivered his infamous "I am not a crook" speech?
Virginia?
Virginia. No, Disney World.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
It seemed weird enough that I knew you wouldn't get it.
Yeah, that's also very odd.
Virginia, though?
I don't know. He gets around.
You know, he's a
Virginia is
president.
a pretty.
He gets around. You know, when I think about get around, I think about not Virginia.
Virginia is like a
Virginia's for
important state.
lovers.
Okay. Is it?
That's one of their logos.
What was
Well,
he
they're-
doing in Disney World?
Well, the problem with logos is that they can say whatever the hell they want.
Well, yeah.
So, in question number 2, the ancient Chinese concept of harmonious design, which was created to introduce a balance between humans and their environment, is called what?
Confucianism?
Feng Shui.
Feng Shui? Yeah, I don't know.
Confucianism. That's a religion.
Yeah, it
No.
is. I don't know.
That's
Kind
not
of.
even okay. I mean,
that's
you
okay.
know what?
It's
It's fine.
more-
No, it's fine. But
Confucianism's more of a philosophy than a
Yes.
religion.
I picked that one because I knew that we would all know it, but you wouldn't.
I've been drinking.
Oh, that's
that's
the
an
reason.
excuse.
Yeah.
Ah,
Like,
okay.
that's
My bolognese.
Well,
sauce
you
also
look
an
at his
excuse.
room, and does it have proper feng shui?
No.
It does.
Well, to him it does.
Yeah, it
Well,
does.
this room
It's
has
important that it
flow.
stay that way.
A battlefield has feng shui if you really.
Does Buddhism have feng shui?
As a critical aspect of it?
Yes.
No.
Like it's a feng shui of the soul.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Buddhism is a way of living, a way of decreasing.
It is a part of feng shui.
But Michael, question number 3 for you. The 12-foot tall flightless bird of New Zealand that became extinct 500 years ago was called what?
Super ostrich.
Super ostrich.
Is it the auk?
How could you have a super ostrich that wouldn't become extinct? You
okay.
could shoot those things with 7.62 bolts and they still don't go down.
Is
No,
it the
super
moa
ostrich.
or the auk?
I don't care what the answer is. I'm right.
I want to know. Okay, there's an ostrich, but what makes it super?
12 foot tall.
Yes.
Oh, it's even larger.
No, it is 12 foot tall.
Yeah.
I'm a super ostrich.
it is the moa.
Okay. Because they had the eagles that actually killed those, which were also just gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
Until we farm them all for meat.
Yeah.
Yum yum.
They were also delicious.
So I got them all right?
All the extincted,
you actually-
things are delicious.
I don't think anybody's got a question right,
Dodos.
but everybody's given an answer. So everybody's
Yes.
got at least a point. So
Everybody's winning. Everybody's winning this time.
balanced. All right, so John, what was the name of Alexander the Great's horse?
Persephone. No. Persepolis. No, Persephone.
Oh, he rode that.
Persephone. He definitely
Yeah.
rode Persephone.
yeah.
It wasn't in the battle though, or maybe it was. Who knows?
He's having a good old time.
You're going to say this and I'm going to know it.
Oh, okay. It won't be for the point, but I'll give you a second shot. What is it?
No, you are going to say it. Then I'm going to know the answer.
I'm
That's
gonna-
how it works.
I'm probably going to butcher this one. Bucephalus?
Bucephalus.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's why I said
Bucephalus.
Persepolis is my second one.
No,
because it's with a B.
Nope, you said Persephone. We're going to go with
Yeah.
that.
I
one.
like Persephone.
I
That's
like
good.
that one. It's like Alexander the Great's like, bitch.
Slapping ass.
That was Greek times too. She was wearing no clothes.
Yeah.
All right.
She's a horse.
Question number 2.
You know those Greek horses. Just nude 24/7.
We don't normally wear clothes.
It was Greek.
Nude.
All right. So question number 2. Les Fauves was a name given to a group of artists that was also included in Matisse. What is its literal meaning?
The fart.
What kind of a question is that? Most of that was a different language.
It's a John question. Because it's really hard to find questions that I know he can't get right. But I like that Les Fauves means fart. It means les poop.
Les Fauves.
No, and it's fairly close. It's the wild beasts.
Oh,
Yeah, they fart.
they do.
This poop smells.
Wild
Smell
beast
poop.
implies a lot of things. But yes, everything farts, I think. Something's got to get rid of something.
Nope, not everything burps. But farts.
Yeah, everything's got to pass through one end, go in the other. So, all right, your third question. In Swedish, a skavalder is a rabbit with what unusual feature?
Horns.
Antlers.
I was thinking, what is that called? Jackalope?
I think it's the jackalope
Wait,
is that. But it's a squaldeer.
It's a rabbit with a jackalope?
Oh, he was thinking of a jackalope.
No, wings.
Wait, how do you pronounce?
Scavalder. Scavalder, maybe, but I put the
Squaldeer.
anytime there's a word that I'm not sure, and I have to look the shit up because you guys are going to give me crap for it, and it was not Australian.
No, that's not Australian.
So.
They hate rabbits there.
With the wings though, that makes sense.
Well, Kyle, are you ready for your question?
What?
All right. Question number 1. What is the name of Donald Duck's sister?
Daffy Duck.
Really? I knew that one.
I thought Daisy was his
Wait,
girlfriend.
Daffy?
Yeah, Daffy Duck.
Wait, Daisy is his girlfriend.
No.
No.
What's the
Well, no, Daisy.
Daisy.
Maybe.
what's the sister?
Daisy's the.
Daisy's the girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what Amelia.
Yes.
No, Daisy might be the girlfriend. What's his sister's? Wait, did you just confuse his
It's
sister and
Donald.
girlfriend?
A little
It's
bit.
Donald.
No, because there was only one duck, or there were two
There are
ducks.
two ducks.
Donald,
There's the guy
Daisy.
Duck and Donald.
Yeah.
What starts with a D that would work? Daisy.
Desdemona.
Does it what?
Daphne?
Mm-mm.
Desperelda.
That sounds desperate.
Desmeralda.
Desmeralda
Yes.
duck.
No, it's Della Duck.
Oh, from the that was in the
now he knows.
well, it was in the new DuckTales.
Oh,
He
maybe.
had a sister in DuckTales.
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it was brought up earlier and they just
Yeah.
brought it in from there.
I think that's all she's in is in the brand new version of DuckTales. The only reason I know that is because my coworker loves DuckTales.
Wait, is that Huey, Dewey, and Louie's mom?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. They introduced her in the
actually-
new DuckTales.
with the oxygen gum that tastes like licorice, and she has to keep chewing it for 12 years. She hates
I have
licorice.
no idea what you're talking about.
It's the show, DuckTales.
I've got that, but
Woo!
all right. Question number 2, Kyle. Emetophobia is the fear of what?
Trees. What? Emetophobia? Can you
People
say
named-
that? Can you actually say that without us?
Emetophobia.
People named
Emetophobia.
Emmett?
What?
People named Emmett?
Antelopes. Sound like antelopes.
Oh, okay. No,
A closet.
fears are always weird. Sure. Vomit.
Because you're emitting?
I have no idea.
Emetophobia?
Have you ever heard of a phobia that actually made sense with the
No.
phobia?
Wait, Michael,
Other
what
than
was the game you
arachnophobia?
played yesterday?
The game I played, chess?
No, that's the game that I lost in 30
Chessophobia.
minutes.
Yeah,
or
that was
30
amazing.
seconds.
That was
Phasmophobia.
impressive.
That was
Phasmophobia.
chessophobia.
No, the computer game that you streamed.
Oh,
I think the people who make
Ghost
up
game.
the names that go along with phobia, they're at
Greek.
least arachnophobia makes sense. Aphobia, like using a scientific name for something, they just make shit up.
The fear that a duck is
They're
watching
assholes.
you.
It's just what it is.
I think it's a lot of Latin. I can show you what it
It's a
is
lot of
after you
Latin.
do your
It is,
third
yes.
your third question, Kyle, which is drinking a lot. So anyways, during the mid 1970s, David Bowie's diet reportedly consisted of solely of milk, red peppers, and what else?
Kale.
Kale. Actually pretty close. It's cocaine.
Yeah, about the same. You don't want to eat either of them.
kale, cocaine.
They both taste awful.
very similar.
There's emetophobia.
Oh, emetophobia.
He would have known it if you don't.
So
That's got to be Greek because the
Yeah, Emma.
Latin for vomit is vomit.
Yes, but like
Well, that's simple.
Emma means to like.
That's a book from Jane Austen.
So
It means to like.
when I do the
push.
spelling, I have to think about like, okay, if I'm inebriated, can I still stay with the
Emetophobia.
All right. So Michael.
Didn't get them all right.
Oh yeah, I bet
we
you
need
will.
more DuckTales questions.
We're totally on line here. All right. So Michael, in 1952, the United States Air Force created Project Blue Book to study what?
Space aliens?
Give it to him.
It's UFOs.
Yeah.
But it does not, technically UFOs is unidentified, not space aliens, but you're so far the only one that's gotten anything
Even
close.
remotely
Yes.
close.
Yeah.
Sure. Well,
Give Michael a point.
okay, so
he deserves it. He's a
gets,
good boy.
Yeah.
We're giving him 0.51 points, which I always say
Yeah.
rounds. So we'll round that one
He's
down to
winning.
0. No, we'll give it to you.
Let's be honest. The only thing they were looking for, if they were talking about UFOs back in the 50s, was space aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, swamp gas.
A lot of swamp gas.
A lot of swamp gas.
So, Michael, question number 2. What does the E stand for in the name of the American restaurant chain Chuck E. Cheese?
Entertainment.
Yeah, you got that one too. I thought he was
Ooh.
going to say something stupid.
Emmett.
No, I used to like Chuck E.
I
Cheese was
like
my
Chuck
jam when
Emmett
I was a
cheese.
kid.
Yeah, because
That's great.
couldn't afford anything else.
They're right.
Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Exactly. That is what it is.
Charles
Yeah.
Emmett Cheese.
Actually, when I read that question, that was my first thing. Is I read the whole thing in my head and like, they just picked the name because it was cool, and then they had to come up with later like,
marketing.
Anyway, so question number 3. What are a group of hippos referred to as?
Hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus.
Is it a holler?
There are many hippopotamuses.
Is it a holler?
No, it is not. It is a bloat.
I would not have gotten that one either.
That seems rude.
Oh. And they're hunting them in Colombia
but they are
right
fat, so
They are, but that is still rude.
All right.
You
it
guys
is
know
not.
about that.
They
dare
made a choice. They're fat.
No, you guys know about that, right?
They needed to stay warm.
In what? The Amazon waters where it's 78 degrees?
Cold.
They're not cold.
How they're currently culling the hippo population in Colombia?
Oh yes, because the
Probably, yeah.
cocaine hippos.
Yeah.
The cocaine.
Wait,
hippos?
there's cocaine hippos?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pablo Escobar had hippos on his compound, and then when he died, they went wild,
Yep.
And now they're
Well,
everywhere.
like-
and now they're
girls-
everywhere.
And now
girls
they're
gone
literally
wild?
cocaine
Yes.
hippos.
Yeah, hippos are an invasive species right now.
Mhm. Which is hilarious.
That's
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay with. Like how they have those videos of the monkeys running through the streets. I want to see hippos. And it would-
mauling people to death.
It would be horrible.
They're the most dangerous animal on the planet,
I
other
know.
than people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause,
like,
other than people.
Well, that's because hippos can't use firearms.
well,
It's true.
If they could, we would be doomed.
Yeah, we can screw up a hippo
Yeah,
pretty
you-
good.
like,
It's
if you
pretty
put
easy.
do not give a hippo nuke codes.
Don't give him the
No
codes.
President Hippo.
No president hippo. that was
Presidente Peter Potamus.
that was the spoiler vote for the U.S. elections. It was a hippo. Nobody thought it was real until the hippo was at the White House.
All right. So, in sake of time, because we want to try to get this just around an hour, in terms of the podcast here. So, I'm going to move on to the audience questions. So, anybody that is a patron supporter or a Twitch subscriber has the ability to ask a question on Discord. And so I kind of was a little late on asking the question, but I did ask today, and I did get a couple questions. So for the first one I have here, so Bus Filming Pone asks, how many steps would you think it takes to walk to China? No looking it up.
See,
To
so
walk to China?
yeah, a step is about, or a step is a pace.
I would say
Half of-
implying
well,
you're Jesus and
I think
water.
it's 3.
Oh, okay.
So you get 1,
I
2, a 3, and
Crunch.
then you crunch down the Tootsie Pop, and then you're in China.
that's not a bad answer. It's a Michael answer, but it's not a bad
I
answer.
was about to do math.
Well,
Math is hard.
there's no way you're going to do math in time.
It's
here.
about 11. It's
How many
1,000
miles is it?
1,160 miles to the edge of Alaska. If
How
you're
many
going to go to
feet in a
China,
mile?
well, 5,280 times.
How-
1,000,
Depends how many
so
people
it's
are
about
in the mile.
50,000.
How large is your stride?
So let's say it's about 70,000 miles or 70,000 feet
Yeah.
towards.
So divide that
no,
by 3.
700,000 feet.
Well,
So-
no, because it's saying how many steps, not how many feet.
Yeah, but
Oh.
then you convert
Well,
steps.
that depends because people had different gates.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
So
this-
20,000.
That's why this answer has no.
I'm gonna say it's at
20,000.
least 700,000
it's the Tootsie Pop.
gates.
I'm gonna let you right now that I do not know the answer to this. So you guys,
No
are
one
just-
does.
Yeah, but there is no answer.
subjective.
It's somewhere
Well, if you have to
between-
walk to Alaska and then you have to wait for the ice flows you have to wait for the next ice age.
or
Yes.
some an ant.
We need to figure out how far Forrest Gump got per step.
Yeah.
Important thing.
No,
Yeah, that
no,
is important,
He's a
actually.
god.
He's a god.
Bus Filming Pone actually has a second question here. What would you do if you saw a UFO chasing you?
I'd let it catch me because holy crap, aliens.
Wait,
Mm.
it depends. Actually, if I saw a UFO, it depends because when it comes to the term UFO, it's just anything you can't identify. So it depends.
Yeah.
If it's anything I can't identify, I'm just going to run because I'm like, I don't know what the hell that thing is. If it was aliens, if they haven't killed me already, probably stick around.
Yeah,
Because
like
if they haven't
aliens.
murdered you, because you're inconsequential to the rest of the universe.
I would try to find the nearest AAA emplacement.
It's chasing you, meaning you're moving and it's following you.
Yeah.
Well, following you and chasing are different.
Yeah, so you're
Chasing
moving
is an
at,
aggressive follow.
Yeah, you're moving at speed and it's matching your pace or going as fast as it can, trying
Well,
to catch you.
I would go to a Denny's because nobody wants to go to Denny's.
Especially at 2 a.m.
Why would you go to the Denny's?
Only
Well,
drunk
they wouldn't
people
go
and
to-
drug addicts go to Denny's.
You
at
wouldn't
2
go into
a.m.
Denny's. Are you going to follow me into Denny's? No. Though I bet you every waitress there has a knife.
Yeah, it's true. They could definitely fight off the aliens.
Yeah, bro, yeah.
I've met many
It's a
late
UFO.
night Denny's
Well,
waitresses.
We don't know that it's aliens. It could be the Mothman.
It depends. Would the
Yeah, it
UFO
could be
follow me
Mothman.
into Denny's?
Yes.
Wait,
It
would the
would.
Mothman
It
follow
would.
you into a Denny's?
Yes, he would.
Well, yeah, like
Yeah. 'Cause
I'm
he wants
thinking that.
pancakes.
Yeah, because I
E.T. would not go into the Denny's, but the Mothman
I
would.
feel
You
like
know
if
what?
there's a restaurant that the Mothman frequents, it's a Denny's.
You know,
It has to
Waffle
be.
House.
They don't
Yeah.
Where else would he go?
Well, only if he's in the South.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they don't have bad
I
pancakes.
mean, at least
They don't have good pancakes.
up here they'd be discriminatory, but like down south, they'd be like, "Hey, Mothman, what's up?"
No, I'm like, why would they hate the
Wait,
Mothman up
you'd
here?
say up here we'd kick the Mothman out?
Yeah,
What's wrong with the Mothman?
I like the Mothman.
it's
Yeah.
cold up here. Mothman
Yeah.
doesn't exist.
There's moths up here.
Yes, Mothman doesn't exist. That's the crust or the crux of the argument here.
I just want to finish this up by saying if there's any aliens out there listening, you don't have to follow me. Just talk to me. It's cool. Like
Yeah,
I want to be abducted. Come get me.
Come get me. Take me away. Bring me to Equestria or something.
But his rent goes down,
Right? I could.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, the aliens, you're going to have to pay this rent.
I'm going to Horse World.
I'm just imagining right now My
me
Little
alone.
Green Ponies.
Ooh.
That is
Just the antenna instead of the horn.
You'd be okay with it. It'd be fine.
It's. I mean,
Just-
as long as I can boob.
Just whole race of a non-pone.
What?
So next question I have, Null and Void asks, how many times have you almost died? And I'm going to probably say that take that as Michael's whole life is just the constant play with death.
I would like to try to beat him, but I could not.
I would say not about how many times, but do you have an instance where you thought I could have died?
Wait, so it's not a number, it's an anecdote?
Well, he was asking for a number, but
Oh,
there's no
God.
way we're going to come up with a number.
At least 3.
I've what? Only 3?
Well, I can think of at least one time I wanted to die.
Wait.
Hey.
That's a little loud there.
Well, there's a bit of a
Shut it
story to that
Yeah.
one. It was essentially after a surgery, and the doctor took me off my pain meds because he thought I was too drowsy. But then I told him that the pain meds they put me on weren't doing anything. So the nurses took me off the pain meds that he put me on because they wanted to put me on different pain meds, but they couldn't get a hold of him. So I was out of a surgery, open chest, stapled up lung, 6 hours, no pain medicine. And I wanted to die in those 6 hours.
That's fair.
Because the pain was so severe
Yeah, I can understand that.
that
I would be in the same
I
spot.
just wanted it to end.
Yeah.
So that was a bad day.
Well, that's not the question though. It's how many times have you thought you were going to wait, how many times you're going to die? Or
how many times have you almost died?
have you almost died? So I'm up in at least the teens.
Yeah. So that when it comes to that question it's about you have to recognize you're in a position because there's definitely like plenty of times you probably were in a situation where you just missed an accident or something, but you didn't
Yeah.
Well,
realize it.
that's every time you're driving, as far as I can tell.
Well,
No,
no.
that's not true.
No, I think every time you go out in the car is there's a chance of you having an accident, but it just happens to be that trip you were flipping the.
Yeah, I've got like stories of, I was drunk and tripped right next to the light rail in Chicago. Yeah, if I had fallen that direction, I'd be dead.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and there's stories like mine
got a
that
couple.
everyone
I got
has where you're you're actively having a heart attack, throw up in a parking lot because of the stress, and then you go to a Subway's because you think a sandwich might feel better.
Wait, did you get a cookie?
I didn't get a cookie, but I did. I got a spicy Italian full long. It was great.
If you're feeling that bad, you need to get a cookie.
I was hungry because I threw up in the parking lot.
I want to know. I want to think that his whole thought process is that when you get your blood drawn, they give you a cookie. So if I'm having a heart attack, all I need is a cookie.
I needed a sandwich.
No, he didn't get a cookie.
I didn't get
If
a cookie.
I feel like I'm going to die, I want a cookie.
Yeah, but
A cookie's a good thing to go out on.
I want something that will like sustain me for life in the future.
Sustain you for what? You're gonna die.
Not if I eat the sandwich.
Well,
It is spicy Italian.
yeah.
Yeah, spicy down's pretty good.
The evidence does kind of lean towards your favor because you're still alive.
And back
Sandwiches
then,
work.
you could get a foot long for $5.
$5 foot long.
$5 foot long.
I used to spend a lot when I was younger. I used to one of my friends had a truck, and I'd spend a lot of time like just sitting in the back of the truck, like driving around on like streets going 50, 60 miles an hour, to where if anything were to happen to that truck, I would be dead. But you don't know about any of the situations. But yeah, I've had plenty of situations when I was younger where we did really stupid stuff that probably could have went sideways quick. You're not stupid enough, but you are stupid. And it just takes enough stupid.
Oh, I thought of the fifth one.
I mean, my mom used to put me in a barrel and kick me down a hill for fun.
Well,
And-
yeah, because we was trying to get rid of you.
A little bit. Like, we had to stop after my sister's arm got caught under the barrel and turned like black and blue throughout. After that, she was like, okay, maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
No, the fifth one was the horse, and the sixth one was that ice cliff.
Oh my god. Anyway,
So we'll do one.
My mom was fun.
We'll do one more question here. So, Silver One actually asked the question here. Where is the worst place you've ever visited?
okay. It definitely has to be somewhere near. Well, I think it was the worst place I've ever been was near Georgia, but it wasn't my recent Georgia trip. Actually, it was like Tennessee-ish place. We were going somewhere down to southern Georgia and then back up, and I was really small, and I just remember it being the worst experience of my entire life. In the car, it's hot, muggy, for like 12 hours a day.
I tell you,
Oh, God.
I don't know if
Do I
it's-
need to prep this?
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going
I don't know if you-
Nothing can beat me.
it's not a
Nothing.
super, like, but
It's
there was,
Michael. Everything's bad.
well, it was essentially my parents, we would do a drive from Florida to Northern Kentucky in a single go. And it would be like a 16-hour drive nonstop. It was crazy to even attempt it, but they did it every time. The worst part was they would get close to home, finally almost ready to lay down, finally already ready to rest, and they would go to the grocery store.
Oh.
And I would be sitting in the car wishing that I could just die
Yeah.
and feeling like death
You know-
because I had just drove in 16 hours, just wanted to lay in bed.
But you couldn't. 'cause
But
you
I
had to go to the grocery
couldn't
store.
because they needed to pick up some hot dogs.
Wait,
Yeah.
were you close enough to walk?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
No,
awful.
Because I lived down in the
That's
boonies. Nothing was
torture.
close.
That's
It was
not a-
torture.
That's not.
I have to give it
okay.
to you that it sounds so simple, but I can I know
Yeah.
exactly how that would
No,
feel,
it
and
was
no,
so
that would be horrible because you want something not just a little bit, like it is your life being that wants this right now.
Just
Yeah.
wants to lay in bed because you've been in the car driving nonstop as a child for 16 hours.
Why don't you go grocery shopping with them?
I stayed in the car because I was tired.
You could have sat in the cart. They have those little ones with
No.
the beep beep cars on front.
That'd be nice if I wasn't like 14 years old, but
Wait, you're not a child then.
you're a child at 14.
You're a kid, but you're not a child.
Eh.
I don't know.
Well,
There's,
they
I
did
don't know
it
there's a
several
difference.
times
But
throughout my, like every time we went to Florida a lot because my grandparents lived in Florida, so we went down there like 6 or 7 times growing up, and every time they would do the straight drive, and then they would stop at the grocery store, and every time it was torture. It was the worst.
Mhm.
I can imagine it.
I was trying to think of my worst, and I it sounds weird, but it was probably the Grand Canyon. And the only reason I'm saying it, and I mentioned this before, is because it was the disappointment in it. So sometimes it's about you have an expectation for something, and then you get there and it disappoints you so much that it's like, why do we even put our time into this? So like Grand Canyon is one of those, like, it's like the American thing. I like go to see the Grand Canyon, the big thing. And then I got there and all it was exactly what the pictures were. We spent an entire week going through all of Utah and seeing all these other cool sites, super cool sites that maybe you can see a picture of, but being
Joshua
there.
Tree and arches.
You're close, yeah, arches. Seeing it, you can see a picture of it, but you're close enough that you can feel it, that you know that you're there. Grand Canyon doesn't have that.
Well, it's because it's literally so big that you
Because-
could not possibly,
and you can-
unless you were to walk down into
No,
the middle of
and
it.
you
That's why
can. You can go down into the middle of it, but going down into the middle of it, how different is that? Because all you're seeing now is, so when you're above it, you can see everything. But when you're down in it, all you can see is the walls that's around you.
Yeah.
So to me, then that was no different than going to Zion. Zion was fantastic, but it was such a disappointment because or not everybody, but like everything online is saying like Grand Canyon, the greatest thing ever. And then you got there and it was the biggest sigh I've ever had.
Yeah.
Everything else that we had on the trip was great except the Grand Canyon.
I have kind of a Michael story on this one. It's if I had to say biggest disappointment in any trip is I left with a friend, and to sum this up quickly, I left with a friend because they said they were going to go to Butterfly Hill, and I imagined this beautiful hill
Covered
filled
in flowers
with
and
flowers and butterflies because I just watched this documentary on monarchs and all these butterflies,
sure.
and they were like, "We're going to go to Butterfly Hill," and I went with my friend's mom to the grocery store, to the post office, to like to do her laundry, sitting in the laundry with my friend's mom, like just sitting there waiting for this to get done. She's like, okay, we're going to Butterfly Hill. Butterfly Hill was a hump in the road that put butterflies in your tummy because it made you nauseous. And it's like, ooh, we did it. We went over Butterfly Hill. And then just the sick feeling in my stomach followed by immediate depression.
I would be pissed.
I'm just imagining
I'd
a
be
butterfly
pissed.
hitting the windshield as you go over.
Just one solitary dead monarch on the windshield of the car. Just like, oh, look, a monarch.
No, I made such a big deal the whole time about wanting, when we going to Butterfly Hill? When we going to Butterfly Hill? And then she just goes over this hump in the road that makes the trip home twice as long, by the way. Just to go over this silly hill. And I'm like, yeah, it was great.
I've read across a lot of those in construction zones.
I was so like disappointed. Like my whole world crashed in that instant.
You were expecting Pixar like levels of like kid enjoyment, but then it ended up just being a big old mound of dirt.
It just ended up being nausea after like 4 hours of running errands with my friend's mom.
There you go.
So for you two, which one you got for your worst visited?
I've lived a good life.
I'm happy.
He's from a marginally wealthy family. They didn't go anywhere awful.
I think the most disappointing was going to see a glacier and then actually going there and it wasn't there anymore.
That is kind of sad.
It's like, here, you get to see the glacier. Oh, sorry, you missed it.
Oh, you should have been here a decade ago.
It melted.
Yeah.
I was actually waiting for John to be like, one time I went into the bathroom and it didn't smell right. There's a certain level, but it was like 0.7% below that level.
I still, like I said before, like I like going to.
I went to a Walmart once.
Oh, I think this bad Walmart.
I think the worst one I ever had was it was very, very, very long time ago. I think it was when I was 5 or 8. I don't even remember. But we went to my aunt's over in California. We drove from Minnesota to California in like a 2-leg trip. I don't remember the first leg, but I definitely remember going through the redwood forests, and the roads that lead into California are basically like little S-bend turns.
Okay.
Over and over and over for like 30 to 40 miles.
Yeah.
And you get sick.
Yes.
And then you have to keep going because if you don't keep going, you'll never get out of the S-bends. And so I remember being as a little child just sick as a dog the entire way there.
That's why I have a hard time saying the worst place because all of like the road trip car sick things have been like, I went over the Beartooth Pass and I'm afraid of heights and I was road sick. So you've got these amazing views, but you're doing serpentines along cliffside.
The only trip I've ever liked going to California was going by plane.
Yeah, that's what most of want. So, and thinking about just staying on the topic of the serpentine roads. So there was actually the one time we were in Utah and you're going through this super deep forest, like it's all just deep trees and whatever. And then suddenly you see a big sign that's like cliff edge and like warning, and we're like, okay, but you're just constantly weaving through this deep forest, and then literally within like 100 feet, you go from a forest edge to like I think it's about a 2,000-foot drop.
Ooh.
And it is an unrailed serpentine road There's no rails and it's dirt
What's it like the death
Why?
road in South America?
because it's in an Indian reservation.
And
so-
why were you
okay.
there?
Because that was the quickest way to get apparently where we were going.
to take the death drop road.
Yeah, you gotta cut through the res.
And so I was the one driving at this time. And I think this was probably like 14, 15 years ago. I remember at the time. And I'm like mid 30s now. So I was, it was like 20s. And I remember we pulled over mainly because it was a beautiful view. You're literally on a cliff edge.
Yeah.
You went from a forest to an immediate drop.
If it was raining, the car would be down at the bottom.
It was a crazy drop. And so we're standing there and we're looking over and I'm like, oh crap, I got to drive this. Like because how my brain works is I think about what could happen and my brain starts running. And so when you think about you could go off the edge, my brain runs in that direction. And because there is no rails, there is no nothing. You are a dirt road. And thankfully, my dad took the car then because there was a weird sound coming from the wheels the entire time. So as we're driving, you hear clink, 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 clink.
Yeah.
And we're like, I got this.
That's not what you want to hear.
A very dad thing to say is like, no, it's fine.
That is kind of what you want to hear. You don't want to hear your dad say, "Oh, we're gonna die for sure."
No, you want you want to hear your dad saying, "I got this," but clink, clink, clink is not what you want to hear when you're going down a mountain with a bare cliff.
No.
Because we didn't know what was causing it. So he's like, whatever, I got this. And so we went down the pass, but the whole time I'm like grasping on it. I'm not even driving, but I apparently could have. And I'm just holding on its side. And we got down the whole pass, and we got out of the way. And it ended up being that that car had a thing in it where a rock got into the wheel well. And so it was just clinking around. And we had to go to a dealership. It was super 7 a.m, took us immediately in the morning during a vacation and was able to take care of us. Super cool, great in the middle of Flagstaff, Arizona, super weird, but it was out of the way trip, but and took care of us. But going down that pass, I was pooping myself.
So are we changing the question to the most dangerous place we've ever been? Because I've got one of those stories.
You know what? We got a couple minutes. Let's just go for it.
So my dad and I wanted to climb a mountain in May.
Is that something that context that we should know?
No, that's because the snow doesn't really melt until June, but it doesn't melt at the top. At the bottom, trails look clear. So car is gone. We were dropped off at the trailhead, started walking up the mountain, got about a third of the way up, and then the trail was gone. Because there was just 12 feet of snow on top of where we're supposed to be.
Mountains could be crazy on how much snow.
Yeah. So the options are... Well, we're in a mountain, so there's no cell phone service. So the options are turn around, walk down to the road, and try to hitchhike, or keep going. So we keep going.
Oh God, no!
Oh
no! That's the wrong answer.
So
I love how your options were life or convenience.
Well, no, our questions were nature or humans. Who are we more afraid of?
Humans.
Yeah,
probably.
Because up the mountain, all we had to be afraid of were grizzlies, hypothermia,
You can punch
and
a grizzly.
cliffs. But there are
Those
people.
are more
There are
inevitable
people down there.
anyways.
He just said he didn't want to run into any hills have eyes situations.
Yeah. Well,
Snow people.
again, the three things up there were one, cliffs, and there was actually a section where it was I don't want to say 45-degree slope, but
I know what
about there.
I know what you're talking about. It's where it feels like it's not too steep, but also too steep at the same time.
So that was the path up, but on the sides, it was a 70-degree slope. And we were only walking on the May snow. So, the snow that's
Wet and slushy.
it was wet. Now
it's
it is
ice.
no longer wet because it just went overnight. So we're climbing up ice in, we weren't wearing cleats. We were just wearing normal hiking boots. This was also when the grizzlies were waking up. It didn't become an issue.
Hey,
it could have been.
Punching a groggy grizzly is okay.
So whose idea was this to continue on?
It was the responsibility is shared.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a Josh.
Yeah. John wanted to keep going.
The third thing was also the trees. One, every tree that was still upright had just a cone leading into sharp, broken branches.
Yeah, well, those are called what?
Murder holes.
Are they called murder holes? I always call them man traps, but
Yeah.
those are
They're like
same
the
thing as
lion
Widowmakers.
traps. But that was the one thing. And also every downed tree had just enough melt so that you could step through and land on the broken edges of a downed tree.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the trees trying to kill us, the animals trying to kill us, and gravity trying to kill us. We got to the top of the mountain at around 3 p.m. So we started at noon, or no, we started at 8, like 10. 5 hours in, we were halfway through. And
That's not good.
then as we were walking down the hill, the sun started going down.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had no cell service this entire time.
What was your estimated time for arrival?
Estimated time for arrival was 5 p.m. We got back at I think 9:30.
There's once you start
That's
doing
when you start getting, like, if you had already set it up, there's helicopters looking for you or
Well,
some shit.
no, we got back down to the bottom of the hill, and we had heard that my sister had been pointing the headlights up the trailhead, just hoping to see us, and had given up by the time we got back.
Oh my god!
And we finally got back to where we were staying, and they had just had food just waiting for us reheated. I get there, and yeah, it's just fried onions and chicken, and I'm just snarfing down everything. And my dad sits down. A beer is put in front of him. That's all he has. He's just given up.
Just the one beer.
Yeah. But
I can understand that.
I
Yeah,
was
that's
just
fair.
really happy to be alive, and he was happy it was over.
I would have shoved everything in my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what you did.
Yeah, just this is the best food that I've ever had because it's so great to be alive. I'm so thankful I'm not dead.
No, I had a laugh one time of people being afraid of people living in the mountains because there was a movie in 2003 called Wrong Turn, which was
Yes.
about I think it was about like West Virginia. I think it was in West Virginia.
I
What
think
if it's you in
I think it
Virginia?
was Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Maybe this is a different movie I'm thinking of. There was a movie in West Virginia where they used real street names in West Virginia out in the boonies in the Appalachian Mountains. And all of these street names, me and my mother knew as we were watching the movie because they were the street names that my family are on. And they used it in the plot of a horror film where these rednecks up in the mountain are like laying barbed wire across the
Wait,
street to stop travelers.
Is there something I need to know about your family?
This is
No, they're fine people.
Yeah,
That's what they all
It's
start with.
like barbed wire. It's fine.
No.
Everybody has barbed wire, right?
Yes.
it's
they- it's
based
America.
on a true story.
But somebody just looked at streets out in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains like, I bet crazies live out here. And me and my mom are watching
Some
this
asshole
and
in
like, that's where we
California.
go for our family reunion.
Aunt Alice lives on that street.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where the murders start.
Apparently.
This is what happens when California gets a hold of Google Maps.
You know, I'm still scared of Michael in many ways, and this is not helping.
Are you ever going to meet his family?
true. I don't think,
No,
right?
probably
No,
not.
like my only close relative who still lives out there was my Aunt Vivian. She passed away some years ago. So.
Oh, well, you're so you're close. But they am I
Well, they're like my grandmother's and grandfather's brothers and sisters live out there.
Well, they still use barbed wire.
No, they're not killing people. As far as I'm aware.
I was going to say, you got to at least that that you're aware.
As far as I'm aware, they're not killing people.
There
Okay,
are
that's good.
non-murderous
I mean,
uses
fair.
for barbed
He's not
wire.
helping.
My grandfather hasn't told me about any of the murders recently, so
Recently?
recently.
There's stuff in jars that he doesn't ask questions about.
Yes.
That's true.
There's plenty of things in my grandma's basement, and it was probably just jam.
I have never been in my grandparents' basement.
My grandma was their whole family was a farmer, and they had tons of jars in the basement, and it was all delicious stuff, probably fruit.
The only way to
Maybe
access
human.
my grandparents' basement is through a trap door that
Yep.
I have never gone down.
I had to for my grandparents, you had to go outside and you had to go through a storm because it was literally the middle of like Midwestern thing. So you had to go outside and through like the literal like storm.
The actual
one.
storm hatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, we are like I want to try to do we're well under what we normally do, so that's no problem. So that is the SQSA show. So thank you for hanging out with us. I have probably drank way more than I thought I was going to. So thank you, John. John brought some excellent beers for this. So thank you very much for that. What were these again? They were like
Boulevard bourbon barrel quads.
Yes, those were actually
were
very good.
So were they beer with bourbon in them?
No, it's
Barrel-aged.
beer aged in bourbon barrels.
Yes, it was very smooth, very sweet, very good. And then Kyle brought
I brought cheap Korean liquor, soju liquor,
Frog
and
wine.
from frog wine from the hit show Squid Games.
Well, you tried to find the
I try to find the best. Yes,
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not from.
we're in the Midwest.
Anyways.
We don't get Korean booze.
Anyways, and then I have
It's kimchi flavored wine.
Ooh,
but thank you all for hanging out. We'll I guess get you the next one. And Michael, I need your last word left for this one. What do you got? I need a word.
that was
Marmalade.
Good. That was good.
Marmalade?
We got marmalade.
You already said that one. Use a different one.
I
No,
say
he hasn't used
marmalade?
marmalade. No, he made up some word last time. You're gonna go marmalade? Say it in a fancy way.
Marmalade.